Like many shooters, the first time I laid eyes on the KelTec Sub-2000, I wanted one. Sub-2000 is seemingly the perfect bug-out camping companion gun for other 9mm pistols like the Glock, which can share magazines with it, as well as ammunition. I mean, what's not to love? And to top things off, it folds neatly into a backpack. I mean, literally, this sounds like the perfect bug-out gun. But now that I've owned and shot two of them for a few years, is the magic gone? Well, let's take a closer look at the KelTec Sub-2000 and find out. The KelTec Sub-2000 is a 9mm direct blowback carbine that feeds from stagger-column Glock-pattern magazines. You heard me right, the Sub-2000 feeds from Glock magazines. At least Generation 2 ones do, like this one. The model reviewed actually is specifically designed for Glock 19 pattern magazines, meaning it can utilize Glock 19, Glock 17, and any 9mm Glock magazine with a capacity over 15 rounds, and meant for a mid-sized or larger Glock pistol, like the 19 and up or the 20 and up. Yes, the Glock 20 as well, because KelTec also makes a version in .40 Smith & Wesson, and they make versions for both the full and compact-sized Glock magazines, though arguably the 19 style model is much more versatile. Now, regardless of which version a shooter chooses, all versions feature a polymer railed handguard with Picatinny rails on the top and bottom, and M-lock slots on the left and right sides. Other noteworthy features include a 1/2x28 threaded muzzle on its 16-inch barrel and an adjustable front sight post. Conversely, the Sub-2000 features a folding fixed rear sight that automatically deploys when the gun is unfolded. Speaking of which, that's the gun's main claim to fame. The entire Sub-2000 folds neatly to fit inside of a backpack or like a footlocker. The entire action is locked in the deployed position by the trigger guard and can be released by pulling down on this guard. It is secured at the rear by a small tab that locks on to the most forward Picatinny rail on top of the carbine. And the only downside because of this is the gun cannot be locked in the folded position with an optic installed. At least unless shooters are utilizing the pivoting optic mount from Midwest Industries. Now, underneath all this, the Sub-2000 features a crossbar safety and a standard push-button magazine release that makes the gun handle more like a pistol than a rifle, at least in terms of handling and manipulation. Now, behind the pistol grip is the only aspect of the KelTec that I'm not entirely thrilled with: a reciprocating charging handle located underneath the stock. Because it is reciprocating, this charging handle rapidly travels back and forth as the gun fires, so shooters are going to want to keep their support hand away from the stock to prevent accidentally injuring themselves. Slightly off to the right side of the back, the stock features a small cutout that allows the action to be locked in an open position, much like an HK MP5, but in reverse. And speaking of MP5s, the best way to release the charging handle from the locking notch is to perform a sort of reverse HK slap, where the support hand reaches over the carbine, the primary hand tilts the gun slightly, and slaps the charging handle free of that notch. Now, this might sound a little bit tricky, and it kind of looks a little bit tricky, but after a few repetitions, it becomes second nature. All right, now that we have a solid handle and all the features of the KelTec Sub-2000, let's talk about performance. To better get a feel for both the mechanical as well as the practical accuracy, I installed a Shield RMS-X micro reflex sight on top of a tall ADE Advanced Optics Picatinny mount. This setup allows a lower third co-witness with the irons while providing an excellent field of view and a bright sight picture. With this setup, hitting steel plates at 75 yards as well as clearing a plate rack at 15 yards was laughably easy and felt as natural as pointing a finger. And when fired from a Lehman bag jack rest, the gun proved capable of shooting between 1.5 and 2.5 inch groups at 75 yards. While not precision rifle accurate, this is more than enough for the ideal role this gun will be pressed into, which is sort of a backup / bug out carbine. Speaking of accuracy, one aspect I wanted to mention and found very odd is how the gun performed with a sound suppressor attached. In testing, the gun's point of aim was drastically shifted with the addition of a sound suppressor, like several feet at 25 yards. Now, this was confirmed with two different suppressors, a Silencer Co. Osprey 45 and an Innovative Arms 9mm can. So if you're going to run this gun suppressed, be sure to zero it with the suppressor installed in the first place. Now, as far as reliability, it was fantastic. I fired 200 rounds through the Glock 19 style black Sub-2000 and 2,500 rounds through my older Glock 17 tan model, and in both cases, I never encountered a single malfunction except for 2 dead primers, but again, that's ammunition related and certainly not because of the gun. So what's my verdict? While the little KelTec might not have the fit and finish of pricier alternatives, you can't debate its unstoppable reliability and solid practical accuracy. If a shooter is looking for the perfect companion gun for a Glock 17 or a Glock 19, or even a Glock 26 if they use extended magazines, the KelTec Sub-2000 9mm is in a league of its own. No other carbine can be as easily converted into a portable package for so little money, around $578. Thanks, guys. For AmmoLand TV, I'm Jim Grant. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And as always, I will catch you guys on the flip side.